Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the T40. It's a Tier 4 American tank destroyer. It's located on the south spawn of Steps, and it's under the command of BertholomaeusRexodus44x2 of the TLG clan. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Okay, well, he's back in operation, and let's see which gun he's armed with, because there's 5 different guns you can actually use for this one. Well, 115 Alpha tells me that he's got the 76mm gun, which is the top gun. It's a Tier 5, but it's not the gun that this tank destroyer was actually originally armed with. That was a 3-inch howitzer, and in actual fact, that was the only gun that was ever fitted to a T40. The T40 started as a T24 gun motor carriage. It was based on the M3 hull, and they started work on it in 1941, and it went for trials at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds, but it didn't prove to do well in the trials. In fact, it failed, and they actually sent it back for modification, and when it came back to them, it was modified and it was changed in its name to the 3-inch gun motor carriage M9. Now, the Army ordered 1,000 of these vehicles to be built based on the M3 hull, but in the end, after about 4 weeks, or is it 4 months? 4 months later, in April 1942, they cancelled the order and they decided not to go ahead with it. Instead, they actually built the M10 and the M8 instead. Those are the two that went forward as TDs, not the M40. The problem with the M40 was in actual fact because the gun lacked range and accuracy, and it was too tall. It stood out like a sore thumb. The M3 itself was a bit too tall as well, although it was used in battle. In fact, the fact the M3 was used in battle by the British was down to the fact that it did have that big gun, that big 75mm main gun in a sponson side of the vehicle. And that was why they used it, because that 75mm was actually, was it 76mm actually, capable of actually taking out German tanks with one shot. Whereas before, the best the British could put forward was the 2-pounder gun, and that really wasn't capable of bringing down a German tank. In fact, it was only when they started getting guns like the 6-pounder with the 57mm gun that they were actually capable of puncturing holes in German tanks, but they weren't really capable of bringing them down with just one shot. Now, the M3 gun was capable of doing that, and that's why they bought it. Now, as the Soviets called the M3 a coffin for 7 brothers. I think that's because the number of crew that they actually put in the thing. And yes, which sounds like they didn't have much confidence in the vehicle. And I doubt they would have had much confidence in the or the T40 either. Mainly down to the fact, of course, that it is basically an M3 without a turret or without a roof. So it would have been very, very cold if they'd used this thing in Russia. I can imagine if they had built 1,000 of them, it's very likely that a lot of them would have been sent to Russia. And so, yes, it wouldn't have been inconvenient. Hello. Punches a hole in. Remember, 115 Alpha. Penetration's 128mm. Oh, bounced around from the Valentine. Now, he probably won't bounce too many. But remember, that guy's only got a 2-pounder gun, or should only have a 2-pounder. In fact, actually, I think it's the Soviet version. It only has a 57mm gun. Or is it their version? Okay, Stug 3 Ausführung G. Or is it? No, it's the B version. This is a Tier 4 game with only Tier 4 tanks. And he's punching holes in that Stug, and he's got the kill. So that's 2 kills now. It's not particularly fast. 38 kilometers now maximum speed. The standard reload is 3.74 seconds, and you can see BertholomaeusRexodus has got 3.69. Now, there's other anomalies in it as well. it's actually got a very weird arc, and that's down to the fact that the gun is slightly to one side on the right side, which means it shoots further to the right than it does to the left. In the game, he's got this AMX40. This Jack is going to be fried à l'orange. Yes, he's going to go down very easily. Yes, there you go. The thing is that in the game, it's got 35 degrees arc to the right and 22 degrees to the left. But in actual fact, it only had an arc of 37 degrees in total, which was 10 to the left and 27 to the right. But Wargaming's basically giving you a slightly bigger arc to play with. Of course, this is down to the fact, like the Hetzer, the gun being mounted over to one side, the gun could swivel very easily to the right, but it couldn't to the left. Stug, up front and personal. Hello. Well, he took out our driver with one shot, and in fact, actually, he hit us for 298, which means that he must have had the derp gun to do that. Yes, it is the derp gun. That was the 105mm, and he aimed centre mass and took out our driver. Now, we see where the shell. Oh, crumbs! It was a big one, wasn't it? In fact, it looked like it was an armor-piercing round. Yeah, the 105mm armor-piercing. That's why he took the driver out. Now, can we get this Valentine 80? Yes, good hit. Tried to do it again, but couldn't. It's a slight slowness on the velocity. Oh no, too far away to get the SU-85. The Valentine's gone down. Valentine anti-tank. No, he hasn't. There he is. I thought for a second he'd gone down, but he's actually only a short distance away. He'd gone behind the house, and that's where he's hiding. Now they've got a Panzer 38 nur Art behind him. Now that's the light tank with a 5cm gun. It's fairly fast as well. I think we're going to have to dislodge this Valentine with one easy quick shot. Yep. Didn't even need to see the vehicle, just a bit of the gun shield, and that's enough. There's only 5 enemy tanks left. Now, can he poke his nose up and just get a shot into the rear of this guy? Well, didn't with that one, but we're reloading really quickly, so yes, we get that shot as well. Now, the only remaining enemy are over in this corner, and yes, they appear to have an Arty. It's a Sturmpanzer Spy. Now, that's got a 15cm howitzer. So, yes, he's probably going to lob some nasty shells at us. We don't need to cap. We just keep on going. This Sav doesn't know how to play properly. Yeah, you go to get all the enemy, not... don't cap just for the sake of it. Only to put pressure on the enemy if you really must. But we're going to kill this SU-85 first, I think. There you are. Hello. Let's dial in. Oh, he went down to somebody else. Somebody was waiting for us to get that shot in and finish them off as soon as we'd taken them down to a one-shot. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first ace tanker for BertholomaeusRexodus44x2 of the TLG clan. He managed to get a 5 for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6. He got a Faden's medal, or Nathan's medal, I should say, not Faden's, a Nathan's medal for killing all the enemy light tanks, at least 3 in the course of a battle. A high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. He got 6 exactly. His win rate in the game, 7,505, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. So, yes, this was a very good performance to get an ace tanker, and a first ace tanker at that. Get the scrolls underneath, and that's the first time. Look at team score. We can see the highest damage, 1,536. Second highest damage was the T28, who managed 1,226, and he picked up a Confederate. And the third highest damage was the Marder 38 of 808 hit points on the enemy team. When it came to kills, yep, he got that one. Bartholomeus picked up 6 kills, Top Gun. 3 kills went to the Hetzer, 2 kills went to the Lux on our team, and the Marder 38 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, yep, we got that one too. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 876 went to BertholomaeusRexodus, 599 went to the T28, and 458 went to the Hetzer. He fired 26 rounds in the game. You actually get plenty of rounds with the 76mm gun. 96 in... Is it, no, 96? No, it's 100 rounds. Sorry, my mistake. You get a lot of ammunition, so more than enough. He only went through a quarter of his ammo. 17 direct hits on the enemy, 17 penetrations, 1,536 hit points of damage, of which 365 were at more than 300 meters. 3 hits received from the enemy. 1 was a penetration, 2 non-penetrations. The penetration one was, of course, the 105mm round we got from that Stug B with the 105mm cannon. Yes, unfortunately, he used the AP, went straight through and killed our driver. 47 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 killed, 141 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium account, he actually made a profit of 27,573 credits, and he also picked up 2,628 experience points. Now, this is actually quite an interesting tank destroyer if you play it with the other guns. And I think BertholomaeusRexodus, the fact that he's got this as his first ace tanker in this vehicle means he's either just picked it up and he's ignored it in the past, or alternatively, it was in the collector's tab and he ignored it and didn't see it. Or the other possibility, of course, is that he's now going through all of his tier 1 to tier 5 tanks one by one and picking out all the really good ones and having a great game and getting ace tankers in them. Certainly, he went through the enemy like a hot knife through butter. And the thing is that this one can be quite an interesting tank destroyer if you use things like the 105mm gun, the derp gun. It's not the original gun, as I said. The original gun was the 3-inch, and that's what you should be using. And the 3-inch is only 76mm caliber, and unfortunately only does 110 alpha. But the 105mm is capable of 410 alpha. And that means that it really does stir up the enemy. It's only got penetration of 58mm of armor. So, of course, there's no guarantee that you're actually going to penetrate the enemy. But if you do penetrate the enemy, oh my God, you're going to do a lot of damage to them. And in fact, actually, it's got quite a high arc when it fires. So you would actually be derping the enemy at very long range. So if you see a target at long range, you have to let it dial in and let it settle because it's a 105mm. But then when you fire, the shell goes arcing up through the sky and drops down on the enemy, almost like an artillery round. It really is quite funny to behold, and actually can be quite amusing because you're actually almost playing, as they say, playing a round of golf. You're literally potting the enemy one by one from a long range away. So if the enemy's not moving, if they're stationary, just like they would be if you were playing an Arty, you're literally bombarding them from a distance. And if those shells hit an open cockpit, the tank literally just vaporizes with one shot. So yes, well worth playing for that basis alone. If you try it with the 105mm, try it with the alternative guns. The 57mm, which it does carry, is quite a fast, rapid-firing cannon, but it's also got great penetration on the enemy. That one, you're virtually going to penetrate even KV1s and the like, so you would be able to get through the armor on those. But it's more of a challenge playing it with the 105mm, and it's also quite good fun watching what actually happens to the enemy. The 57mm, by the way, I can actually tell you, has 110mm of armor. So technically speaking, it could actually penetrate Tiger tanks. It's that capable. But of course, they wouldn't have put the 57mm in it in real life. It would have only been the 3-inch, and I'm afraid the 3-inch doesn't quite have the same penetration as the 57mm. In fact, it's only got 90mm of pen, so it wouldn't be able to penetrate a Tiger. So there you go. It would have been at a handicap with the Tiger, unless, of course, it got behind the Tiger. But then, seeing as the gun only points forward, I think you'd have a bit of difficulty trying to get behind a Tiger because he would blow you to pieces before you ever got near the rear of him. And then, of course, you'd have to turn the vehicle to face the rear of him, and he'll never let you do that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. and thank you for watching.